all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So last Saturday was Family Day. I also worked on a site plan for a friend of mine who's considering purchasing a building to be a headquarters space for his company. So he had some last minute needs to get in for a zoning review. So I did some zoning research for him and started working on a site plan. And then Sunday was Easter, so we went to church, celebrated Easter, spent the afternoon with my wife's family, and that was great. We really enjoyed that. Then on Monday, I had a call with the civil engineer, the owner's rep, and a representative from planning and zoning in DeKalb County to talk about the hardware store that we're doing there and talk through some of the requirements and things that they were going to need. The interesting thing about that is that site, the buildings are existing, and it's in an overlay district in DeKalb County, and the requirements in the overlay district are pretty stringent. And so they really apply to new builds, and so there's a lot of them we're not going to be able to meet. And so we're talking to planning and zoning ahead of time to try to get an idea of what the variance process is going to look like, where they're going to encourage us to comply, and where we'll be able to get variances, and trying to really give them an overall scope of the site and the buildings and what we plan to do, so that way they're aware and we can work together to get the project done. So that was great. It was very productive, and we look forward to moving forward on that one. Then on Tuesday, I finished up the site plan for my friend and his HVAC company. They got in for the zoning review, so that was great. That's in. Now we're just waiting to hear back. Of course, there will be comments. There generally are, and questions, and so that's fine. We'll address that. I've worked with this friend before. They're great, and so I'm really happy to serve them. The building they're looking to purchase is really cool, but it's also in an overlay district here in the city of Marietta, and it comes with some specific requirements as well, just like I was talking about with the hardware store. And there are some things that, in leaving an existing building in place, we're not going to be able to comply with. And so trying to help them work through those sorts of things and figure out in the zoning code where we can comply, where we cannot comply, and talk through the variance process. So got that started, got that out on Tuesday. That was great. Did some more coordination with the civil engineer and the zoning. And really, the reason we're doing the coordination with the civil engineer for the hardware store is because there's a good bit of site development requirements in this overlay district in DeKalb County. And so the civil engineer is handling that portion of it, and that's why we're coordinating closely with him. And then that afternoon on Tuesday, I got to go play golf, and that was part of my 40th birthday present for my wife, was golf at some courses, some nicer courses around. And so I got to do that, which was a lot of fun. I got to play with a mentor of mine who really is just a special person in my life. And so, but we really don't interact much socially. Usually when we're together, we're talking business and things like that. So I've known him for a long time. We've actually only played golf together a couple times, but really, really fortunate and very privileged to get to go play. And so that was great. I really enjoyed doing that on Tuesday afternoon. On Wednesday, I went and sat on a jury for Kennesaw State architecture students. This is something I've talked about before, something I really enjoy doing. It's a way for me to give back. It's a way for me to stay engaged. It's a way for me to keep the pulse on the future of the profession and see what students are interested in, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and really to pass along some knowledge and wisdom, some things that I have come to understand in the profession. And so I really enjoy doing it. I have a relationship with a professor there who continues to invite me back, and I'm very, very privileged to be able to do that. And so I got to do that on Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday, I worked on the plan for a bar conversion. There's an existing pizza restaurant here in the Marietta Square, and they are looking to convert their back room, it's 2 rooms actually, into one and build a bar. And so I was working through some options there. I worked on that on Thursday and Friday, and then I have some options ready to go over with them. And really, it's really not that complicated of a program in terms of, a little bit of demolition, a lot of new finishes, but they have 3 existing storefront bays and trying to figure out what to do with that. They really want to be able to open them up. Do we want roll-up doors or folding doors, or, what's going to work? They have folding doors currently. They're a giant pain. They break constantly. And so trying to work through the practicalities of that with them and for them. So I'm excited about that project. I've talked about it on another week in review as well. And so happy to serve them and be involved there. So working on that. On Friday, I followed up. I think last week I talked about I had a meeting with a church who was looking to build a new sanctuary. The meeting went really well, and I followed up with them this week, and they told me they had decided not to move forward. And the reason they had decided not to move forward was because they didn't understand the commitment they were going to take on in building a new building. And it's really made me think about how I sell work. And so when I'm talking to prospective clients, one of the things I'm always trying to do is paint an accurate picture of the challenges that they're going to face with their project specifically. And so I never want someone to sign on because I made the process seem easier or more straightforward than it actually is, because I feel it's dishonest, honestly, and I want people to come and understand that it's a challenging process. And I think of all the qualities of prospective clients that I would like to have in clients, it would be that they're patient. Of course, people need to be able to pay, they need to be funded, they need to be able to complete the project, and I want to get along with them. But really, I want clients who are patient in the process, because building things is a challenge. And so, I try not to say, well, it's challenging and I don't know the answers. What I try to say is, here's the different areas where I anticipate there being challenges or difficulties, and I've worked through these specific challenges in these types of ways. And so we will help you tackle these challenges. And so on one hand, I'm sad to not get a job, but on the other hand, I'm really relieved that they understood the commitment they were about to make. And as a church, they felt like the funds would be better allocated somewhere else and serving their people or serving their community rather than building a building at this time. And they said they may come back around to doing that, and I would get the call. And so that would be great if it happens. But really, I just wanted to talk about that as, my philosophy in terms of how I sell work and who I'm looking for from a client perspective. And that I never want to overstate the simplicity. Like, yes, all problems are solvable, and I've seen and done a lot, and I'm adept at solving those problems. But I don't want clients to think like, oh, this is just going to be a breeze, because it's not. It never is. Regardless of the size, scale, scope of the project, there are always challenges. And particularly if you're not a professional builder, developer, contractor, things like that, if it's your first time taking on a building project, there are challenges. It's difficult. And so I want to be upfront with prospective clients about that. And if I lose some jobs because of that, okay, so be it. But, I think the clients that do take me on, or that I do take on, they have a better understanding of where the challenges are going to be. And I try to help them navigate that as efficiently as possible. So that's all we've got for this week. If you have any questions, thoughts, comments about who we are, what we do, how we do it, leave them in the comments below. I would love to interact with you guys there, or perhaps address a comment or a question on a future Week in Review. So I look forward to talking to you guys next week. In the meantime, y'all be particular.